Are going live all the places. Here we go. All right, y'all. The eye is still holding on strong, which I'm excited for. I'm trying not to mess with it too much, hence no eye makeup for however long. However long. It's a good lesson in going au natural. Good morning, good morning, good morning, all of you who are joining. We are talking today about actually leadership, which is a really, it's something we haven't talked about very much on the live streams or even on the podcast, which is what this is based off of. Kalua, good morning. Marty, good morning. You know what? I love how this works. I was thinking about you like yesterday. I got to DM you because I got some exciting things going on that I want to connect with you on. Good morning, Kalua. So good to see you. Thank you for the hearts. Oh, Priya, good evening to you. It's so good to see you. I missed you too. I missed being able to see. And I missed stuff like this. It was a good lesson in patience, but it's so good to see you. And I just appreciate how understanding everyone is when stuff like this happens. So we're talking today about powerful leadership, specifically powerful female leadership. And I am curious, for those of you who are present here, who here feels like this is their edge or feels like they run into challenges surrounding leading other people or themselves? But really today I want to talk with you about leading other people. And I will share for myself, this is 100%, this has been my edge, like my biggest growth opportunity. So I just want to let you know, if in any way, shape, or form it is a challenge for you, like I am so with you. And okay, Marnie, you're saying my edge for sure. Yeah, me too, like in so many ways. And I'm just curious, for those of you who are here live, like, what is it specifically that you may find yourself bumping up against with leadership? When it comes to leadership. And as always, if you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, pop me a comment. It's like, I can see there are people, but I can't see you unless you comment. So would love to see you there. So you're saying my edge. Oh, because I've become super powerful in it. Well, I love that. I absolutely love that. And it's taken years. Yeah. It's a process, right? And I just, regardless of where you're at right now in your sales, in your business, I know for many of you, you already are leading a team. For others, maybe you've got a VA, or maybe you don't have a team yet, but you're growing and expanding. Like yesterday I was doing a private intensive with a woman who is really just, she's like getting a lot of traction and starting to build her business, but it's just her right now. And I was like, even at that point, you've got to have support. You've got to start thinking about hiring an admin, even an hour a day, just to have somebody to help you get the stuff off your plate. Because we calculated for her, and this is something that I would invite each of you to do. Like, her revenue target is $30,000 a month, and she wants to work 20 hours a week. And so at that level, her hourly rate is $360 an hour. And so I would really encourage each of you to calculate, like, what is it you want to make this year? Not what are you making, but what do you want to make? And then how many hours I'd say a week do you want to work? And then you expand that over the course of the year, and that'll give you your hourly rate. And so for her, it was $360 an hour. And she's doing stuff like, email scheduling and all this admin stuff. And it was like, you got to start thinking. I think this is not necessarily how I was going to kick off this live stream, but one thing that is kind of the overarching theme that I would encourage you to think about is like, how does the version of you who has the team, the reach, the impact that you desire, how do they think and how do they lead and who are their team members? And oh, Richard, good morning. So good to see you. Oh my gosh, it is great to see you, my friend. And Patty, good morning. So good to see you. And I know, Patty, you're leading people, right? So I'm curious to get your take on this too. And Kalua, for you, because I know you're here live right now as well. Like, what are some of the challenges that you find yourself bumping up against? Oh, Kara on Facebook, good morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. Everyone's coming in. This is fun. And so one of the best things that I learned from one of my mentors, Gina, was to keep a list called Who Else Could Do This? So who else could do this? And just as you find yourself throughout the week doing anything that that you wouldn't pay somebody else your desired hourly rate to do, then that needs to go on that list. So start thinking about it that way. Okay, start thinking about it that way, and you don't have to delegate everything right away. But the way that I've really built and scaled and grown, grown my own business, my own team, was like every month, I kind of just made it a goal that every month I'm going to get at least one thing off of this who else could do this list and get it delegated. Get it delegated to somebody else. So if any of you do that, let me know in the comments, or if you're gonna do it, let me know too, because that has been a game changer. Patty's saying, because I'm still doing it solo. For me, it's time management. Okay. So I do want you to think about this though, Patty, because where you're going, you need help. Like you're going to need, if you don't have an LOA, you're going to need that, or you're going to need an admin of some sort. Like really, even when I was, when I was in sales working for another company, I still hired support and team, because I knew that my best time was spent in front of customers. And that's for each of you who are here, like just knowing so many of you personally, your best time is in front of customers, prospecting, lead generating, or working specifically with the clients, right? But so I wanted to share some of the biggest takeaways I had from this week's podcast interview. And so you've got to go listen. It should be live now everywhere. I've got Kim Skuris on She Sells Radio this week. And Kim is one of my clients. She is a phenomenal leader. She's a top leader in a really big financial services company, which is also very, it's a little different because she's a female leader in a super male dominated industry. So we did talk about that angle, but I really used it. And for any of you who have podcasts, like I often think about my podcast interviews as very selfishly like a private coaching session for me. And then I figure everyone else gets to benefit too. Patty, you're saying you just started training 2 processors. Yes. So you're not doing it solo, right? Like you have a team. And I want each of you to think about that. You are leading. Like this is something we talk about on the episode this week. You are leading, whether it's leading a team, whether it's leading family members, whether it's leading yourself, right? But again, keeping it really focused on how do we lead others powerfully. And so the one thing that I really was like dying to ask her about, because this has been the biggest challenge for me, and I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but having tough conversations with team, like with people I'm leading. And that, how many of you can relate? Like, does that feel hard for you, or did that feel hard for you at some point? Because I know for me, that has felt by far, out of everything leadership related, the most challenging. And I notice, because I do a lot of inner child work with my clients, it's like my default for so long. Thank you for the hearts. Okay, so you get this, right? My default for so long when it was time to do this was to default back to like little Elise mode, where it was like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to make someone feel bad, right? How many of you like can relate to that, or that's part of the programming that you have when it comes to, when it comes to having tough conversations with other people and with team. And so I just want to welcome, Sierra, good morning. Nick, good morning. So good to see you all joining. We're talking today about powerful leadership. And so I asked her, I was like, how do you do it? I said, I know by far I've gotten a lot better. But it never feels fun to, at least to me, to go into a situation where it's like, you got to have what could be a tough conversation with somebody. And so she shared 3 key things. And I would really encourage you, like, write these down, because these, when she shared them, were really game changers for me. And whether you're actively leading a team right now or not, you're going to want to have these on your hand. Like as you grow and scale, you're going to be leading people. So the first thing she shared that's really, really helped her, which I loved, is to see every single meeting with somebody as an opportunity to build the relationship, And I thought, gosh, isn't that good? Like, even when we've got to have a tough conversation with someone, and maybe we don't even want to call it a tough conversation, right? Because we get what we think about. We talk about that a lot here in She Sells Land. So maybe not a tough conversation, but you could call it like a clarifying conversation or what I love thinking about now, based on what Kim said, is like a relationship building conversation. So if you go into the meeting thinking about it as an opportunity to build the relationship, I want you to think about how your energy would be different in that. Because if we go in and we think like, oh, it's going to be confrontational, or I'm going to, like the old program I used to run, right? Like, I'm going to make them feel bad. So I don't want to say something that's going to hurt their feelings. Then your heart's racing, right? Your adrenaline is up. But if you thought about it instead as, this is a great opportunity for us to build our relationship, and you go into it like that, in my mind, or in your mind, I would encourage you to think about like, you're moving from being across the table from them to side by side with them, like next to them. You're going for the same thing. You're going for the same goal. Um, and the common goal is to build the relationship, right? Oh, Colleen, good morning. Good to see you. So I would start it out that way. And that's how Kim, oh my gosh, John, so good to see you. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's how she started. The second thing is, and I thought this was so powerful, part of how she has these, we can call them crucial conversations, clarifying conversations, tough conversations with team, is she loops in examples where she's done something similar. So it's like, let's say that somebody goofed, and I was talking to a girlfriend the other night, and someone on her team like hadn't scheduled emails for close to 2 months, and she thought they'd all been scheduled and understandably was in a, not in a great place about it. And it's like, so let's say that happened and you go in to have the tough conversation. Well, part of what is helpful, I think, is looping in or being prepared to share examples of times when you've maybe had the same thing happen, right? Like, hey, it seems like the ball was dropped on this. I want to, and this is not something that Kim shared on the podcast this week, but this is something I've learned to do, that which has been super helpful, is to always lead with curiosity. Like, hey, I noticed this happened and I just wanted to find out from you, like, tell me what happened here. What's going on? Is there a process that we didn't have in place? Is there something we need to put together differently? Like, what happened, right? So leading with curiosity, because it can be very triggering when something happens that doesn't go the way we were wanting / expecting from our team members, right? But when we lead with curiosity, assuming that that person really has the best intentions at heart, we can save ourselves from making assumptions about other people. We can save ourselves from getting into situations where we accuse people of something that they didn't actually do, right? Which is the opposite of a relationship building moment for you. Thank you so much for the hearts. I'm glad this resonates. Oh, Gail, good morning. So good to see you. So, but when she shared, like, have examples where you've done the same thing, to me, that humanizes it a lot. And it also it's a good reminder for each of us that none of us is perfect. Like, none of us is perfect. And if you're expecting your team, your vendors, your family members, or yourself to be perfect, then obviously you're setting everyone up for failure there. So I love that she shared that. And then the third, well, let me just check comments real quick and then we'll get into the third thing. Cara is saying, I've been thinking about what it would look like for me to hire someone super part-time to do all my social and building my email list. Yes, I love that. This conversation is so timely for me. Beautiful. Yeah, well then there you go. So definitely listen to the podcast this week, because it's going to be perfect for you. Oh, Drea, good morning. So good to see you, love. And then the third thing that she shared, and this was, I have not thought about this before, but this was really, it was a helpful perspective shift. So for those of you who are joining live now, we're talking about my biggest lessons from the podcast interview this week on She Sells Radio. And I interviewed one of my clients, Kim Skoris, who's the COO of a big financial services company. Good morning. And so I was asking her about leadership, like specifically leading as a woman in what is a very male dominated industry. And she said this, and I thought, gosh, this is a good way to think about it. She said, the moments that for me have been the most helpful in my career, where I've grown the most, are not where someone gave me a cushion to land on, but they're where someone gave me the opportunity to make a mistake and then take ownership of it. So the way she said it, and this is close to what she said, if not exactly what she said, but don't give someone a soft place to land. Don't be so inclined to give someone a soft place to land when you're having that tough conversation. Because in that moment, when we do that, if it's like, which again, all of this is stuff that I've learned that I'm still every day like working on getting better in. If someone's really screwed up, like you lead with curiosity, but then if they've really screwed up or they, they didn't take it seriously or whatever, you take away the opportunity for them to grow when you try to cushion the fall or give them that soft place to land on. Right. So she said the biggest opportunities of growth for her have been when someone had to have a challenging conversation with her and then they let her sit in it. They let her sit in it and she had to go back, sit at her desk and think about what had happened there and decide that she was never going to do that again. So when we as leaders try to cushion it too much, and again, we have to lead with empathy. We have to lead with curiosity. We have to always, always, always assume the best. But when we do that and there's still, say a major oversight, a major issue, or someone just really dropped the ball, and we try to give them a soft place to land, they're not going to grow. Like they're not going to grow from it. So I had so many takeaways from this week's episode. And for any of you who are here live, if you have questions on leadership, if you have questions on, maybe you're at the very beginning stages, like Kara was saying, where it's like you're thinking about hiring someone, or maybe you're already leading a big sales team and organization, but you're noticed like maybe you're growing and expanding, or you're like, gosh, I'm realizing this is the area that I personally need to grow the most. Pop them in the comments. I'm happy to help. You're saying, Dre is saying, it's so hard for some leaders to allow that person to sit, but it's so important. Yes. Which is probably out of everything she shared, I thought that is the hardest for me personally, that feels like the hardest because I don't know how many of you can relate to this. Give me a heart or a yes if you can relate. Like our default mode is to want to make sure everybody around us feels good, right? Like that's so much of my programming and my conditioning that I picked up on early in childhood and have continued a lot of that story through my whole life. And in many ways that's good. But when it gets in the way of allowing somebody to grow, then we're not doing them a service. And I know that feels, thank you for the hearts. Like, I know that feels tough. I'm so with you if that feels tough for you, because it does for me too. But that part of our job as leaders is to create a place where other people can come and grow. Dre's saying, yep, yeah, so you get this, right? It's to create a place where other people can come and grow and expand and get better themselves. And so when we take away that opportunity for them, then we're not doing them a service. So again, it's about leading with love, empathy, curiosity, like come to the conversation, thinking about it as a relationship building conversation, not as a confrontation, which if we can take it too far in that direction if we're thinking just about not giving someone a soft place to land, but do that and allow people to process what they need to process in order to grow. Allow people to take responsibility and accountability for themselves, because that's where, as your team grows, you grow. So you want to make sure that every person on your team that you're helping to develop into that next level person, because that's the critical, like your business is people at the end of the day. And again, whether you are working in sales for somebody else, whether you are leading a company, leading a sales organization, you are a leader in some way, shape, or form, and you work with people, you work with human beings. So we got to focus on that development of them. So I'm so glad this is resonating. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is what I have for you today. So go listen to the podcast. Go check out the podcast. It's live now on whatever your favorite podcast player is. It's it's called How to Be a Great Leader with Kim Skouras. So go check it out. Listen, it's super powerful. And then like I shared yesterday, I've got a couple of spots open right now for private mentorship and coaching. So if you are, maybe you're in leadership right now, I'm doing private coaching for a fair number of leaders. If you're in leadership and you want to really powerfully impact your sales results and your team's results through the end of the year, or maybe you're, maybe you're in sales, maybe you're running your own business, but you want to just absolutely crush it through the end of the year, send me a DM and I'll send you the application link to apply for that. I would love, love, love to help support you. You're, oh, Drea, the Monday Supercharge was on. Did you like how the Monday Sales Supercharge came out on Tuesday? We it's like we're just going to own it this week. We try to do that. We try to get it already on our team on Thursdays, but I couldn't see last Thursday, so I was like, we're doing it. You know what? This is part of leadership to kind of round it out. I think part of leadership is getting things done and not being so attached to things being perfect, right? That is very much a lesson that I have learned along the way too. So, all right, my loves, I am so grateful. Oh my gosh, I have more friends coming in. Oh, we're just wrapping. We're just wrapping for today, but we talked today about powerful feminine leadership. Oh, you got yours yesterday, Drea. Well, I don't know how that's possible, but if you did, oh, maybe it was from last week, and we have delivery set up to be whenever you are most likely to read it. So maybe that's what it is. That's funny though. But yeah. Oh, and yes, Elena, Tila, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Go back and watch the beginning. This is all about powerful female leadership, and we've got an amazing leader on the podcast this week. Kim Square is one of my clients who's talking about all things leadership. So. All right, my loves, wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. So good to see you. And I will look forward. Oh, tomorrow, real quick, tomorrow. Don't y'all love these stream of consciousness live streams? This is just how we roll. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite money mindset hacks that has been transformational. So remember, Monday, Tuesday, we're doing more tactical, more podcast related sales stuff. Wednesday through Friday is more mindset, prosperity, abundance, wealth consciousness. So tomorrow I'm sharing one of my favorite money mindset hacks that has helped me release a lot of anxiety I used to hold about money. And if you have any sort of that going on in your life, be sure to join because it's going to be really, really powerful. All right, that is it for today. Wishing you a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.